There are so many benefits to having this bike, and you may not think that you need one or even want one, but today I'm going to give you some reasons why you might think differently. I'm going to address some of the challenges that we face on a daily basis with a camper van or a motorhome that you'll no doubt going to be encountering yourselves. You may not even know how this could improve your van life or just your general life experience. I'm going to explain why I chose MiRider and why specifically this particular model. There will be much more to come on this bike as I use it far more regularly, including a perfect example over the next few weeks, and also how it can actually save me money. In the short space that I've actually had this, I've realised what I've been missing, and I wish that I'd actually done it sooner. This is the MiRider 24 GB3, and I've had it for quite a few weeks now. The day I opened the box, I could really appreciate the quality that was there. I knew this anyway from the various encounters which I've had with them at the NEC show over the years, and also what other people have said. I've just really fancied having one for a few years, but it's just often the little signs that show the thought and the care and effort has gone into producing such high quality item. I will get onto the various different aspects of it which I actually love, but take this for an example. Like you see in some high-end cars, high specification vehicles, you actually have a plaque of the person who built it. And whilst we talk about it being built, these are built in Britain. In fact, they've obtained the official trademark for British manufacturing, made in Britain, which for that, there's strict criteria which needs to be met to make sure that they can actually achieve it. But to be quite honest with you, I think that's a topic for MiRider themselves. So perhaps I'll take a trip up there one day and sit down and have a chat with them and find out all the various different technicalities about the bike. But anyway, back to it and the high quality. So in this particular case, this was built by Anthony, and it's a bike which is fully road legal. And I say that because not all bikes which you can buy on the UK market at the moment are actually road legal, but that is a story for another day. And actually something which is rather interesting, which is coming later in the year, especially with regards to electrics. But peace of mind for this bike doesn't actually just come from the fact that MiRider are a reputable company. It also includes a 2-year warranty, and that has been provided on the electrics, the motor, the frame, and also the battery, which in this case has got Samsung cells in it. So again, another reputable brand. And the model which I've got here is the 24, meaning 24 is the size of the wheel. Yeah, 24-inch wheel. So it's bigger than the previous ones, which you might have seen, which fold up really, really compact. Now, I've always admired the MiRider bikes, and I've said that in several videos before, but it was as soon as I actually saw this 24, I thought immediately, yes, I'm interested in it. I'd previously seen the MiRider 1, and they've also got another one, which is now the middle of the range. And I just kind of always had it in my head that with that small wheel, yeah, fantastic the way it kind of folds up. But I just thought that it's just too kind of small for me. Yeah, I was wrong on that. I've since found out that I was very wrong, and maybe I should have actually purchased a MiRider many, many years before now, because that one is more than capable of doing the bigger journeys. This just does it a little bit better, dare I say, because it's got that bigger wheel. It can cover that surface area much easier and much more comfortable, I would imagine. But I opted for the 24. And since I've been getting out on it and been using it, I've been 100% right. I absolutely, absolutely love it. With these bigger wheels, which it has, like I said, of the other models, it does cover more ground with ease. But it does mean that it is bigger, but it does still fold, and it is remarkably light. It's still only 21 kilograms, which means that lifting it is relatively easy, whether that be into the back of your van, your camper van, your motorhome, or just kind of taking it up some steps. But it's even lighter when you remove the battery, because you've got the key lock there, which you can just take it out. And that also means that you can take the battery away, so you can charge it away from the bike, or you can charge it on the bike. It comes with a 230 volt charger, and that's a 3-amp charger, which will charge the battery fully charged in 2.5 to 3 hours. So from the physical aspect of the bike, yes, it is bigger than the other ones, but it still does fold. So this little piece of engineering here, which I do actually like, you just kind of flick that catch up, pop that down, and then it folds. And with the handlebar being the widest part of the bike, then it means that now you've folded that in, it's a lot narrower. So maybe if you're getting inside a caravan, for instance, and you've got that narrow aperture of a caravan,
it's much easier to take it in there. And then also putting it in a camper van, if you're putting it in between some furniture, it just folds in a little bit more. And also to help with the folding is the pedals, because these pedals, and I think this is genius, actually fold in as well. And they do this really easily. You just kind of like pop them in and it just folds like that, and then just flick it back. I like that. Genius. I think that is really good. And it just kind of keeps it just to a much narrower frame. So in total now, the actual width of it is 30 centimeters. So it's easy for storing it at home as well. So you might have putting it under the stairs or in an alleyway or something. So it just confines that space. It just makes it narrower to store much easier. And with the handlebars folding down like that, it actually folds down with the seat as well, because the seat comes down and it's now a maximum height of 86 centimeters. But what I really, really like about this now is you can set that marker to the bottom there, and then on here, the seat comes up and you've got markers here. So you can always remember where you want this, where you've had the seat, where it's most comfortable for you. So you go, if it's 3, pop it on 3 and fold it back down. So whenever you get back on the bike, you know it's going to be in that perfect position for you. It's just really simple, but just really, really effective. Now, it's just really, really practical in lots of different ways. And that also extends as far as the carrying racks, because it's also got, on this one, optional carrying racks. So we've got this one on the back here, which is often quite common, you see on bikes, 25 kilograms capable of carrying on the back. And then I've got this one at the front here, which is capable of carrying 10 kilograms. But you're going to have to come back shortly in a future video, because I've got an absolutely perfect idea for that. And I'll show you very soon. Really quite excited about that. But like the one on the back, like you can be putting various different things on there. You can picking up your farm shop foods, wherever you've been, out and about, pick your shopping up, put it on there, put it on the rack. Might not stretch as far as your paddleboard or your surfboard on the back, but it's certainly capable of carrying some good things, so you can get out and about from the campsite, which I'll come on to, and then just making it a really, really good utility vehicle for you. And as you'll see underneath the carrying racks, you've got mud guards. Now the mud guards are standard and they are practical. As you might be able to tell, it's a little bit muddy and a little bit grimy, but if you are using it to commute, and there you go, there's another hint, then it's going to keep that mud, that grime, that dirt off you. It's not going to be on there. And also integrated into the rear mud guard is a light, a red light, which can be used to, obviously, for people to see you, which also doubles up as a brake light. And at the front, we've also got a light here as well, which is actually really quite bright. And it's not just for people to see you, but it's also to help you for being able to see out and about in front of you riding at night as well. I like it really a lot more than I even thought I was going to do. Now, colour-wise, as far as this is concerned, it's available at the moment in orange and grey, as this one is. And I think they both actually look really, really good. Now, I'm not very good at photography, but I did take some photos whilst I was stopped in various different places. And I was able to do this because, again, something else which is really practical, it's got a side stand. So as you can see, it's just stood up on its own. Something simple, but it does the job really well. It's far better than one of the flimsy ones, or just kind of propping it up on the side of something, because we all know what generally happens there. Yeah, somebody knocks it over, or it just happens to roll away and slide on the floor. It's just, I just think it's just a really nice small thing, but really, really good feature. Obviously it's got a bell as well because it is road legal. Power for the bike comes from the MiRider system, which is a 250 watt power system, and that at the moment is the current maximum which you can have for it to be UK legal. There are quite a few bikes which are sold on the UK market which are above that and aren't actually legal for the UK roads. So as far as the battery is concerned, it's got 378 watt hour of power. So it's got plenty for, they say, up to 65 miles. And actually, I'm going to test that out. I'm going to see if I can actually break that, get a little bit more, go a little bit further on it. And I've got a couple of routes planned just to test that out. But the good thing about this is, if that battery does run out, unlike other electric bikes, you can actually still ride it. It isn't going to be a huge, great struggle to still be riding it once that power has run out. So yeah, I shall look forward to testing that out. Hopefully the power won't run out, but if it does, I will actually be all right. Now, to be riding it, it is really quiet. It's got 5 different power assist modes. starting from number 1, which gives the lowest level of assist, up to number 5, which gives the greatest. So it's just a case of having to play around with it and see what suits you. But it also does depend on kind of what terrain you're on. You know, whether you're on a smooth tarmac, whether you're going uphill, whether you're going downhill. And that kind of comes onto the gearbox as well, because this is a patented 3-speed gearbox. 3-speed, but it's actually internal, it's built into it. So it means that there's no derailleur. So it's just completely silent. It's silent and instant with its shifts. The other aspect which makes it really, really quiet is the fact that it's not got a chain. It's got the Gates carbon drive belt, which is just silent. You can't hear it. It's a carbon belt. You know, it's a really, really well thought out product. A high level of engineering's got into it. It's all been designed by themselves, and it just works really, really well. It's just so soft, so smooth, so comfortable to be riding. Now, the seat which I'm on, it's got a nice memory foam seat, which is more than adequate for what I need for mine. Don't really need to be wearing my my bib shorts or anything like that, those uncomfortable, great big padded things, which I did actually wear when I did the London to Paris ride, which I did in a pair of Vans. Yeah, pair of Vans doing the London to Paris. Not many people can say they've done that. Long story that. Maybe I shall come on to that and tell you about that another time. But that was an epic bike ride, which I did. Absolutely loved that. And there was no electric power involved in that one. Kind of come to a dead end there, which gives me perfect to kind of get onto the tyres, because if I'd have carried on going down there, I'd have been going off road. Now, these tyres are capable of doing it, but that looked a little bit buggy. And to be quite honest with you, I don't want to be getting it particularly too dirty at the moment. So these tyres which come with it are designed for different types of terrain. They've been designed, again, specifically for this bike by MiRider, and they work perfectly well. They will handle, obviously, the tarmac, but they also handle your pebbles, your rocks, and things like that. I've tested it out and it works absolutely fine. There's no problem at all with it. And the brakes, well, the brakes stop you absolutely dead. Oh, bit of a skid there. But they're brilliant, they work, they're really, really effective. Yeah, need to be a little bit careful with that. These are Clark's hydraulic disc brakes. As I've just demonstrated, they work. They do stop very, very well. Now, it's just another high-spec component, because the componentry which has gone into it, designed, engineered perfectly, it's just a high-end product. You know, the more I ride it, the more I get to grips with it, the more places I've been in it, the places I've taken it, the looks which I've got. Now, I'm going down this hill now, I'm just freewheeling down it. I'm not pedaling at all, 22 miles an hour. It feels safe, it feels comfortable. It doesn't feel as though it's gonna chuck me off or it's dangerous in any way. I hope you can hear me, because it is ridiculously windy. But it's just so comfortable. And I'm sat on the seat. I'm not stood up or anything like that. I am sat on the seat, and it's just comfortable. It's really, really comfortable. Not sure if you could hear exactly what I was saying there, because it did get pretty windy when I got down that hill. Got up to about 25 miles an hour coming down, and I wasn't pedaling. But of course, because this is UK road legal, over, I think it's 15 and a half miles an hour, the assist has to cut off, and it does. So even if I was pedaling down the hill, it'd make no difference as far as electric's concerned, because it doesn't assist once you get over that 15. Like, it's going 16 now, and I can feel that the assist isn't there. But it's perfectly fine just pedaling it without that assist. It's really, really nice. Let's get down to this river and see how clear the water is down here. What a beautiful day. Beautiful day to be out and about on a bike. Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I wasn't actually going to include this in the video, because it sounds as though I'm just making it up, but I'm not. There's actually a couple who were just by the river then when I was actually speaking to them, and they was kind of getting in my shadows, and they realised it and they moved out of the way. And then when I finished, they started asking me what it was. A couple just over there, you won't be able to see them. But they just said, that's a MiRider, like, because they were reading it on the side of it. Like, where do you get them from? That's amazing, that'd suit us absolutely perfectly. Seriously, like, it's just unbelievable. Like, the people are genuinely interested in things like this now because it just helps them, you know? They might not be mobile like they used to be. And something like this kind of gets them out and about. An electric bike is better than a non-assisted bike because you can travel further, you can go to different places. You know, you can access places where you wouldn't normally access. If you only had a non-power assisted bike, you potentially wouldn't be able to go to them because they'd just be too far off the beaten track. But with an electric bike like this, an electrically assisted bike, you can cover more miles, cover a greater area, discover places which you wouldn't normally be able to see. It's just absolutely brilliant. Just kind of blown away that they've just actually said that. Yeah, things like this, they really genuinely do make a difference. Just past a bloke in a wheelchair. Now, obviously, he's out and about on the moors today because he's got a wheelchair. He's now able to access the moors because he's got a wheelchair. And, you know, it's similar to a bike. If you are still able-bodied and you can still get around, but maybe you wouldn't be able to travel so many miles as you normally would do under, you know, previous circumstances when you were fit and healthy, an electric-assisted bike is helping. And to be perfectly honest with you, if it wasn't for the fact that this is electrically assisted, I wouldn't be doing it. Long-term viewers of the channel know that I've got a heart problem which is still being investigated. And if it wasn't for this being electrically assisted, I wouldn't be out and about. I wouldn't have actually gone as far as I have done. So it's perfect for me, and it's perfect for many others as well. Anyway, I'm going to be coming up to a hill now, so I'm going to explain a little bit about kind of how these gears work. So first gear essentially is for when you're not assisted, or you just want to do a bit of free pedaling, or you're kind of going up a steep gradient, which is potentially what I'm going to be going into now. At the moment I'm in 2, but I'm going to drop that to 1, and then I can nice and comfortably, with some assist as well, pedal up this hill. Now, like I said, if I was on a normal bike, I'd be really struggling now. But as it happens, it's fine, I can go up. Yeah, I'm not flying up the hill, I'm going up at a nice steady pace, but I don't need to be flying up it. Just looking back, yeah, it's a reasonable gradient, and I'm just going up it with nice, comfortable, nice and ease. So that's first gear, going up the hill. 2 is generally when you're on kind of level terrain, just having a steady tootle along. And then the third gear is when you want to go a little bit faster, or yeah, pretty much when you want to go a bit faster. So now I'm kind of leveled off a bit. 1's too easy, so I'm going on to 2, and then now it's just nice and smooth and steady, and it's just really, really easy to do. In fact, I'm actually going to go up to 3. Bit of assist on, and yeah, pleasure. It's a pleasure to ride, doing a 11.9 miles an hour, very comfortable. And yeah, that's something else which is brilliant. That display in front of you, it's huge. It just tells you anything you need to know. And well, let's face it, you don't really need to an awful lot when you're traveling. You're just taking the beautiful scenery. But if you do want to look down, you know, I can see I'm doing 10.8 miles an hour. I'm on assist 5, which probably most people wouldn't be on so much of an assist, but I do need a bit more. It's got the temperature, 5 degrees, yep, and I'm still in shorts, and the power, the voltage, etc., and how many watts is currently being powered. And yeah, it's just very, very simple, easy to see, and colour. Now that's all great, but how can it actually help you? Now, I've already mentioned that it can help you access different places which you couldn't normally in a car, a campervan or a motorhome. You can ride away from roads and access places that you just wouldn't normally get to, or it might take you a very, very long walk to get there. You can go further, go there quicker, especially on an electrically assisted bike. And secondly, with our campervan setups, we may not wish to move them once we've been set up, and therefore the bike can give you that means of accessing different places, just popping out to the farm shops like I said, or the supermarket, picking up your food and drink, or wherever else you need, utilising the carrying racks. And that's even more likely if you've got a bigger campervan, especially on these local access narrow lanes. Now this can really be a problem in Devon and Cornwall. Some places that you need to get to can involve some extremely narrow lanes, and there've been quite a few places which I can think of at the top of my head where even cars struggle to get down, but they are frequented a lot because people want to access them, because they might lead to a beach or a tourist place or something else people want to access. So with a bike, it's just easier to get there. You can filter past the traffic, you can go through the narrow lanes and get there. Now, a positive for an electric one over a normal one is you can go further, ride longer. It's not cheating, it's helping. You still have to pedal, but it's just a lot easier. I can climb hills in this, which if I had a normal bike, I'd have absolutely no chance of being able to do. And that means I can commute to work, which is about a 14-mile round trip. So therefore, I'm saving fuel, reducing wear and tear on what would normally be my van, and obviously, therefore, saving money. And the further benefit is it's much healthier. You're getting exercise and I'm keeping fit. I also don't have to worry about finding a parking space at work. And that also goes on to when you're out and about in your campervan or your motorhome. That can be a headache relieved because you don't have to find a parking space because you just need a space for your bike. And a bike is far more economical way to travel, better for the environment. Hence we're seeing quite a lot more of these hire companies in cities. We've got loads of them in Plymouth, but they're not exactly cheap to hire. Once you've bought one, you don't have to hire one again. And also it then helps you to reduce that carbon footprint, just leading to a more sustainable lifestyle, which I know a lot of you campervan and motorhome owners believe in. Well, now I've got one which I can use in the city, the countryside, the seaside, and wherever else I choose. I'll be utilising lots of other benefits of this over the next few weeks for something I have definitely needed. So do subscribe if you want to see that. If you haven't seen some of the amazing campervans which I've discussed in the past, then you can have a look at those videos here. Take care, and I hope to see you soon.